Hello everyone! I am doing pretty well, and I can't wait to see how this match pans out. Especially with how we see some new players here. Indonesia does have, I believe, ASCII fanboy is new to the MWC scene, and with Taiwan, we're going to be having actually a lot of new players there as well. But how about you, Mifa? How are you doing so far?
Doing relatively fine. At the very least, when I'm commentating for like the past, the only match that I commentated was before that one, and it was absolutely thrilled to see how these players will pan out in like the one of the harder pools. I guess this pool in particular in this year has been like going up in difficulty, and this is no joke at all. Round of 32 feels like round of 16 last year. So that's how it happens for when players are getting so good at the game.
I definitely agree, especially on the long note side. When I played the maps, I was like, these maps are just literally as hard as last year's round of 16, so I definitely have the same sentiments as you. But for now, here's something that I'm interested in. What is Indonesia gonna ban? What is Taiwan gonna ban? What are they both gonna protect though first? Actually unsure. Because the thing about the lower seeded teams, I don't know if you'll agree, but they tend to be the ones who are less balanced in general. Something like Rice is gonna be their best skill set, but their other skill sets unfortunately don't make up for it. And that's kind of the opposite for the higher ended teams, really.
Yeah, and it looks like Indonesia's gonna have their advantage to get to protect whatever they want first right now, as they win the role against Taiwan with like a 25-point difference in that role. And also, I would just need to remind you in the chat, if you guys want to see the other matches it's gonna be Spain versus Russia. Go check out with the other channel as well. It's OSU Live 2, which is also happening right now. So if you want to go watch over there, you know that you're gonna be cheering that one side of the match right now.
And if you're interested to see both matches, why not open both of them at the same time? There's nothing wrong with so much support. But for now, Indonesia protecting Little God Channel, not surprising. Little God Channel, I believe, is like one of the more jump stream or stamina oriented beat maps, and those are the kind of maps Indonesia I think destroys a lot. Meanwhile,
Oh wow,
Taiwan's
Taiwan protecting an SV pick, right? That's the kind of thing you want, really. But I'm not sure if that's actually gonna pan out for Indonesia. I'm not sure.
But here's the thing. The good thing about SV picks is they don't force you to become very physical, which is, in my opinion, is what Indonesia's really good at. But they have to take note. They do have an SV fortress. I'd like to call ASCII fanboy that at least, because ASCII fanboy has been setting some really good scores on that field. Though if Taiwan, wait a second, what?
Banning
Oh.
tarot cards as the LN1. That's probably the only time that I've seen it hasn't been. I mean, it's been picked once, but it has never been picked ever since. And it's now being banned for Taiwan here.
Well, I don't know if this is a good ban, because Indonesia is known more as a rice team, right? And in fact, Indonesia is banning hybrid. So I feel like banning LN could be counterintuitive, at least in my opinion. Because Indonesia is known to be a rice team, though to be fair, there is the presence of players like Anta Pikasi, and we all know how good Ray is as an overall player.
Also, it looks like by this point, when everyone has their protects and bans, that does mean the second match that the SVs has been actually not being affected at all. In fact, it's been protected by one of the teams, which is Taiwan. So both of these SVs are up. Which also meant that Indonesia is well prepared for if Taiwan decides to go for the SVs, really.
That would be very interesting if both teams are paired. I think though, the problem for me, at least on the side of Taiwan, I'm just not sure exactly what they're going to be strategizing here. Though for Indonesia, I'm predicting something like, okay, they're gonna go for rice, and then maybe test the waters on hybrids and LNs. Though they are taking their time right now.
Ooh, Hopeful Frontier. Okay, that's
okay.
Ooh, okay. Let's see who takes this on the two small sections that has a lot of split trails in there. Let's see who takes this now because that's the kind of pick that you want really to mess up real with.
I don't think this is a very chokeable pick, don't you think? Like, the thing about this pick is like it may not be the most physically draining, but there are certainly some patterns here which really test the durability and the flexibility of their wrists.
I mean, like, the patterns themselves are absolutely disgusting for something that is as hard as like around 32, and having those really troll-ish nature of split trail in the middle and the outro of this song is actually like, that's a Bima thing that he has overall when he charges something like this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, we just kind of have to like switch some players, don't you think? Adiza on the Indonesian side, and Albert actually. Wait, so we have one Taiwanese player on the Taiwan side and one Indonesian player on the Indonesian side, and both on the other two players are on other sides of the coin.
Yeah, still needs to get some adjusting the setup here going on because not in the correct space to deal with. Like let's get back to when we saw the protects and the bans for both of these teams really, because with Taiwan protecting SV, that also meant that they are very well prepared that they're gonna be picking both of the SVs really, regardless of what they want to which order they want to pick, because that's it's anybody's game. But Indonesia seeming that he has like all sorts of good SV players on their arsenal, I don't think it's like that much of a big deal with them protecting SVs really. Doesn't really feel affected at all for Indonesia, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's not really exactly the most affecting Indonesia because, like, at least right now, I do think their SV lineup is fairly decent. Though, I don't know. Something tells me that Taiwan is just going to be a wild card for a pick like this. Like, I haven't exactly seen these three players play that much in tournaments, so it would be very interesting to see how they do as a team, especially if this is their MWC debut, which I'm not exactly sure about that either.
All right, let's see. I'm not sure if the players are willing to start with the MP start right there on the command, because it's usually the referees or something.
All right, well there it is. They're back. All right, we're ready to start.
On the other side, Spain versus Russia. Spain is now 1 up point with picking 8-bit Voyager, which is the Element Density pick. And well, we're starting with the first map already on this match, which is Hopeful Frontier.
Yeah, so we do have a difference in first picks. Like in the other side, we did have Ellen, and now we're having Rice. So, oh man!
Wow, look at that!
Starting with 2 breaks already. Very unfortunate start for Taiwan, but luckily it's still the first part. Meanwhile, we're seeing some wonderful performance from Indonesia. Even though the patterns here are super various and variant and whatnot, Indonesia's hitting it like it's nothing. Though Taiwan making a good recovery, especially Jackie. In fact, almost matching Such's accuracy. Aurora Dion trying their best, but still has a lot to work on.
That scene to it doesn't really face at all for Indonesia. Really, like, I mean, as consistent as they are prone to choke, so a little bit more than you usually used to be. So having 99.8 on average doesn't seem to be like that big of a deal, because usually the high scores are rare, and here we go, we're going to split trail right here. It doesn't seem to face that much really.
Well, it doesn't really affect the Indonesian accuracy here. Taiwan, on the other hand, they've made some amazing progress in recovery. Despite the numerous rolls and like anchors and whatnot, even that split a little while ago, no one was affected. It was only really that start that sort of affected Taiwan's score.
With Jackie actually recovering, like, it doesn't really, like, you would see that Jackie has a miss really, because the accuracy is actually a little bit higher than Albert because of that with that miss. But now we're going to a little bit of the outro, which is almost the same as the before section. Adiza with the choke right there for some reason.
So this is what you were talking about, Indonesia tending to choke, right?
Split trill.
Luckily, no one getting affected by that split trill. I'm gonna be honest, that was a scare. Imagine if Taiwan didn't have those 2 misses at the start. This could have well been a victory on their side. Not to mention, Albert did drop accuracy by the very end. Those patterns really affected sort of the Indonesian team. But hey, very solid scores all across the board. Though at the end of the day, Indonesia just had the better accuracy overall, which ultimately gave Taiwan the victory. But that was still a fight that they gave. Not too much of a big lead from Indonesia, if you ask me.
Jackie with only like a miss flag, and Adiza hitting everything but the 200s, which sounds kind of funny to me though.
Oh, that's just indicative that they had the part where they weren't exactly the most comfortable with, and because of that, their wrists probably got unstable, and that led to those bad judgments in general.
Right, we'll see if Taiwan decides wanting to go with the protect thing here. I'm assuming that would be the case, given Rice it's like a no go for them. I feel like, given the prospect of how full frontier goes.
I mean, it's nice to pick the protect, but I don't know if it's the right choice to make now, because it's still very early on. And not to mention, this was Indonesia's first pick. If it was Taiwan's first pick and they lost the breakpoint, I would understand. But this is not a dire situation they're in yet. And they see that there's an opportunity for them to take a point if Indonesia does choke.
Seems like they're gonna be having a sweet time for deliberating on this. Oh, okay, going for Hautara and Yokosenshi.
I don't know if this is a good pick from Taiwan. Because, like, even if I did say that there's a silver lining for them to take a breakpoint off of Indonesia, I think hoping that the fact that other team chokes instead of like relying more on your individual performances as a team, I'm just not sure if that's the strategy to go with for this one.
I mean, thankfully, the song itself is it's very short. It's just like TP cycling, but any mistake is pretty lethal.
Alright, so this is a very quick map. You know, now that you mentioned it, the word lethal, I think that's a good way to put it if you miss on a map like this. Definitely. And we do see one switch. I believe that was Aurordion for Diablo Rex. We'll have to see if this was the right switch to make though.
I mean, hopefully, at least none of the people here seems to be got cut off by that. And although Diamond Rice has a 200 in the intro, a little bit worrying it seems.
Well, it's the intro for a reason. Not at least it's not like at the very end, which is, in my opinion, much more valuable than like having problems at the start. Though, at least the top two players from each team performing relatively well. So it's really just a battle of the third placer. Unfortunately, the third player in the Taiwan side has a lot of ground to work on, but it's still very early on, so not over yet. Still a lot of chances to do.
More than a 400 combo wins, so any mistake from there is gonna be a tough hill to climb from there, unless you have like superior accuracy to go forward with. And there you go, such as the first choke of the Taiwan right there.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. In the break section, this is like the worst part to find a miss. And now we're approaching the sort of court Jackie's tech section. Both teams, I would expect Indonesia to just eat this like it's nothing. Exactly what they're doing right now. But Taiwan still putting up a great fight. Like the fact that we see 699s in the whole lobby just goes to show how players are good now. Like it's very insane to see the progression and the evolution of players. And now we're reaching the last part. No one finding any drops whatsoever. Oh wait, was that a miss at the start from? Oh, it was actually. So that's why their accuracy was a lot lower. But it should be around like what Such got, if it weren't for those early chokes.
Yeah, it doesn't really. This pick doesn't really work for Taiwan. It does seem like, although Jackie is actually has a higher score than Albert, if he went double S for them, which is very respectable for what he does. But again, the sheer ratio and the amount of accuracy for Indonesia does seem to be a little bit too much for Taiwan to catch up on with.
Yeah, that's true. Although again, I think I really think Indonesia has to go for. I kind of want to see them try LN because think of it this way: Taiwan banned a long note pick, and if anything, they banned tarot cards, which I think could be the LN that's the easier to act among all three. So if that's the case, then maybe Indonesia could go for something like 8-bit Voyager, which is probably going to be an advantage for them. But instead, they go for Rice 1. We've only been seeing Rice picks this whole match, by the way.
Yeah, Hajime Shimasho, which the speed, as far as speed goes, I would never expect that a Ska pick for like around the 32 because normally you would see Ska in such like late game picks all around, but this one seems like it's the opposite.
It's so unorthodox. I agree, because like skull maps tend to be like really difficult, but instead we're seeing something like that in a round of 32. A very unorthodox way to see Ska's beat map. But hey, if it works, right?
I mean, I guess I have no control about what goes and what goes not, but this is still a pretty challenging pick for being speed. Not necessarily speed streams, but it's got everything. It's got a little bits of 616 and 18 snaps in between.
Yeah, I mean, it is streams, 2 minutes and 58 seconds streams. I feel like Indonesia is the more consistent team overall. I think they're just going to be able to breeze through speed streams like this. Like, I would think Albert is going to specialize in something like this a lot. Though, they still have to be very careful.
Like I saw in like the last matches, I think it was when around like Singapore versus Australia and whatnot. This is one probably like the endurance kind of pick that really it doesn't really test speed that much, but with how sustained the streams are, it's gonna be tough to deal with if you don't have a sheer composure to deal with most of the streams in here. Really, it's very long for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, normally you would see longer picks on the later rounds, but hey, this being 2 minutes and 58 seconds, I think it's valid. Because, like, again, players right now have gotten really, really more advanced. And it's evident on their gameplay right now. Still consistent as ever for everyone, but I think this can change as the time progresses.
That's the last thing that I would ever expect anyone to go step in the stream pick. That's the last thing that I would ever want to see from Mediza.
And I don't think that's the best move to make either, because like, the thing about ghost tapping is if you ghost tap way too much, you'll be bound to get some 50s. Unfortunately, the first one to mix is going to be Diablo Rex from Taiwan, but I gotta still give them props for having a very clean miss as their accuracy is still very high.
Still got quite a bit of work to go with here. Still around like the first third of the map, really. Still have plenty of room to recover.
And the fact that this is only 10,000 point lead for Indonesia right now, this could really go to Taiwan's side if Indonesia doesn't become careful. Like, we did see that drop from Adiza in, I think, was it Frontier Explorer? Like, that map alone shows how scary it could be if Indonesia drops.
I mean, it was Hopeful Frontier because Frontier Explorer is a different song.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I confused it for something else.
I mean, in fairness, there's one song like that in particular. Although Albert is lagging behind.
Okay, we'll just have to wait. I believe it shouldn't affect it too much. Like, I don't think. Oh, what is going on?
Although I do think it's okay. What is going on?
Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. Oh no, we're just so we're really gonna have to wait for Albert to finish, huh? So this lead that you see in Taiwan right now, this is not the actual lead, okay?
If this would have been like a DC, this would have been a totally different story.
Alright, let's see first though. Okay, here's going to be Indonesia's pulling back the lead. What an amazing comeback they're doing! Oh my goodness.
It seems like a solo lead coming from Albert. There still seems to be quite a lot. Oh, everyone's playing again. Oh, it's still desynced though, so it's still not indicative.
All right, so it's still a little bit desynchronized, but I feel like Albert does fill in the 30,000 gap that Indonesia has right now, unless they find a drop or two, which I don't think is gonna happen. These speed streams, these are something the Indonesian team is very good at. What the no? Whoa! As I say that, an unfortunate drop from Albert. Is it enough to give Taiwan the victory though? I don't know. I think
it might have been though, because I feel like because the stream is still streams right there, and I feel like there's still a few seconds to go for Albert to make a. There you go. Yep.
Such found the miss as well though.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? What's going on?
Can you pause in the multiplayer? That's what I want to know.
Okay, 3-0. Okay, what just happened?
That's the first time I've ever seen a pause in the multiplayer lobby. That's kind of good strat right there.
Maybe you just need a little bit of, you know. Okay. So here's the stats. Indonesia won the pick by 27,000 points. Sizable lead, actually. So yeah. Okay, Albert actually did not find the miss there. It was a 994. I thought I made a big curse there, but hey, we're gonna be having OMG.
All right, so they're picking their protected pick, and I would expect that they would go with this sooner or later, because they're 3 down, so they have nothing to lose if they really want to go for that now.
Oh hey, well, I do think if Taiwan is picking this, then they're probably at least confident with what they have practiced, which I sincerely hope they do. They did practice at least. Alright, so yeah, we're just gonna be waiting for Indonesia's third player, which I'm gonna assume is on Tabikasi, I feel.
It could be anyone really. It could be Adiza as well if they already want to.
Hey Mifa, what if you're the third player?
I really don't play that much, so yeah, I'll pass.
Alright. Sounds good. Okay, they're moving on. Okay, Anta's gonna be the third player, according to the chat at least.
Alright, so there you go, we're having Onto Pikasi, and for against Taiwan, which they already have their full roster in the lobby right now. This is the kind of pick that I kinda hate practicing it, because it's aggravatingly slow to be able to ghost tab. So the margin of the hit window for that kind of BPM is larger than you would seem to be.
Yeah, that's fair. Not to mention, this is literally almost 3 minutes. And as someone that I do play SV, but like I don't think I'd want to play 3-minute SV over and over again. Which just goes to show how dedicated these players really are, honestly. And I'm very glad to see that from everyone.
Well, I wouldn't mind the lengthy SV pick, but I just don't like slow BPM songs in general. That's kind of the point that I have during SVSE too, which the first round it was like aggravatingly slow.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking some time and just readying these players up. I do hope that everyone is prepared. I mean, I think like P-Dog is a decent SE player himself. Those again, Aradorion and such are going to be wild cards here. Meanwhile, for Indonesia, I've known these 3 players.
All right, they have no fail is like valid. It's like permittable for picks in general, so it's really not a big deal.
That's fair. That's very fair, actually. But hey.
All Are they gonna 200 on the first note? Yep, there you go.
Well,
so it has a 200. And no, it's
And like
Kamikaze as well.
And okay, ASCII fanboy was like, wait a second. Actually, Taiwan has the lead right now. Interesting to note. But
I mean, yeah. In fairness, the first note is really easy to drop 200s on there, so I really don't blame them.
okay, so right now, this is a 3,000 point lead from the Taiwan side. These patterns, especially those mini jacks, very scary to hit, especially on the SV side. Like you'd be afraid to just press it and be like, what if I miss? What if I miss? But really, the fact that this is very close, it's mainly due to ASCII fanboys and core on the Indonesian side. Very impressive showing these teleports not affecting anyone so far.
That's a 200 for Onsen Bakazi. That's alarmingly low of an accuracy for Onsen Bakazi because how the hits are so inconsistent. They're like, the judgments are all over the place.
Yeah, not to mention this.
Oh wow, look at that 200! The spree of 200s from Taiwan.
These three players are beating out both RetroX and Onto Picasso for the most part. It's really ASCII fanboy who's giving the charge to Indonesia. An opportunity for them to take a point, to take this point away from Taiwan.
That's 100 for Aradorian. The slow jump wrecking everyone in Taiwan right now.
Oh no, that was a lot of 200s on the Taiwanese side. It's just going to give a lot of leeway for Indonesia to continue their charge. Again, onto Picasso, RetroX holding their own weight. ASCII fanboy doing an amazing job themselves.
No one is above 99.3 except for ASCII fanboy, which is the outlier of the entire lobby.
A very big outlier indeed. Again, these SV patterns not really affecting anyone on the combo side. Like, these teleports, they're not the easiest to memorize. And yet, they're just
200s. Watch that 200s on there. It's really mentally taxing because how big the window is for ghost tapping. Alright, this section is deceptively harder to get. The bombs are pretty... Oh, there you go! Aradorian takes the first choke over the Taiwan.
It's so unfortunate because at the very start, Taiwan had the lead, but that one miss probably sealed the coffin. The nail in the coffin, I mean. And now final teleports coming in. Some mini jacks, and unfortunately, I think this should do it, at least for how they've been doing. A decent performance from Taiwan in general. But Indonesia just had too much of a wall to climb right now.
Yeah, ASCII fanboy definitely takes the cake for having a V1, the only V1 double S, and the everyone else didn't really even come close to 980k plus above.
It's just a very insane.
SV2. Taiwan is actually begging Indonesia to pick SV2 right now.
I want to see that back-to-back SV picks. Let's go. Right. Though, to be fair, I think Indonesia's gonna go for Poppy. Probably that.
Oh, there he goes. Yep. There he goes. Yep. Alright.
Oh my goodness, they're actually going for SV2.
Alright, there you go. Taiwan has a something advantage. Now it's not on Tepagasi's playing, probably. Or was it actually Indonesia's pick? I don't know. No.
Wait a minute, I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, because it's Taiwan picked SV1. It's now Indonesia's pick, so nope. That false alarm.
False alarm. I thought this was... Oh my goodness, I was scared for a bit. I was like actually hyped, and then I saw the chat. Oh my goodness.
Looks like somebody didn't even see the name.
It happens.
Alright. What if Indonesia actually convinced to pick us V2 now? I don't know.
That was a funny one though, I gotta say. I do think Indonesia going for Poppy. Or maybe 8-bit Voyager.
Well, I mean, Little God Channel was protected for a reason, and I think Indonesia's probably gonna go for that.
Oh my goodness. Let's just wait and see. Meanwhile, on the other side, it is currently 4-0 right now, but Russian
Alright,
Federation...
Poppy. Poppy it is.
This is what I was talking about. Poppy is a very technical beat map, and like this is something Indonesia definitely has a very good standing on, at least from what I can tell.
Is this actually the first pick being shown on the stream? Actually, I've never ever even see Poppy being shown. I mean, played at all, really.
Alright, so this is 2 minutes 17 seconds, so not exactly the shortest map, but still you have to be very careful with your misses and whatnot.
Is Poppy being the first one on being played on the stream? I don't ever see Poppy being played at all, really.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen this. Yeah.
Oh, on the other match so far, I think Russia is pulling it back with their own pick. Actually, it's now 4-1. Spain is still in the lead though, but having a point is nice to not have a clean sweep in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, this is something like Indonesia just has to continue picking stuff to their own advantage, even if it's not their own protect. And Taiwan in general, like I'm gonna admit this, Taiwan is doing really decently. Just they had some very unfortunate mishaps here and there, but overall their act hasn't exactly been that bad either.
Alright, 200%. Alright, okay. All the streams just making it gone.
Well, this pick is certainly a challenge when it comes to the technical side, as I've been saying a lot a while ago. And this is why Indonesia would want to go for something like that. But look at Jackie right now, beating literally everyone in the lobby, including bad HD player. And such as well, just doing decently. Like the mere fact that this is a very technical beat map, and everyone is doing very well act-wise, goes to show once again the evolution of players all around the world.
Nothing to seem to phase at all with the one-handed trails in, really. That's very impressive.
Yeah, these anchors are not giving anyone any troubles whatsoever. Not to mention those jacks after those anchors, still not giving anyone opportunities to drop. Even if this is a 15,000 point lead, Taiwan's still doing a really good job.
Yeah, there's a couple of hundreds and 200s for NATO and such. That's all the difference really is. Indonesia just doesn't seem to having to massively choke at all, really. 99.8 plus. It's that average.
And unfortunately, such finds the first drop. But still, very good fort that they were able to hold, really. Once again, everyone just doing very good in a map like this. Like, these technical patterns are no joke at all to play.
That's a 200 for Jackie, seems like. I already saw that 99.9 being gone, and it's now on the same level as Ray or Bad HD player.
Yeah, and right now, Indonesia just taking the charge. The 35,000 point lead, unfortunately, is a very big one, especially for how much there's left in the map. A very good performance from everyone. We gotta give everyone their props for doing such a good job. I think Jackie actually takes the MVP for this lobby. That's a very impressive job. Yeah,
120.
120. Very good job from everyone, really. And you know what? I have to be honest. There were some opportunities for Taiwan to take some points in this match, so they did a good job doing what they could. But unfortunately, it's going to be Indonesia who takes the victory and the match point. So congratulations to Indonesia, but worry not Taiwan, as they still have the losers bracket. Am I right?
Yeah, they will still have to redeem themselves in the losers bracket in round of 16. And may I remind you that round of 16 is it's a step up. It's definitely a step up. So they're gonna have to work even harder than that to make sure that they still have a place in the next round.
That's fair. That's fair. Just, I wonder who Indonesia's next opponent is. But I think regardless of what happens, they just have to be very careful with all of the decisions they've made.